What's up guys, Mickle here, and over the past few months there has been a lot of people who have been extremely bearish on the cryptocurrency market as well as the traditional markets. I feel like on this channel I have been one of the few people who really has been bullish, and what we have seen is we've really seen that traditional markets have made moves towards their previous all-time highs, and it looks like we could be right around the corner from the cryptocurrency market taking off as well. Well, in this video, I want to share with you some brand new information that I think is absolutely massive for the cryptocurrency market going forward. I've been talking on this channel countless times about how we need a catalyst to get new liquidity back into the market. In this video, I want to talk about something that just happened today that I think is going to be absolutely massive going forward. Make sure to stick around for this whole thing. I think this is really important. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to take a quick second to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's really going to help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange, Uphold, down in the description of this video. Uphold is giving away 50,000 XRP right now. Someone just won 20,000 XRP the other day. Do not miss out on your chance to win 50,000 XRP. Sign up with Uphold using the link in the description of this video. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So let's jump into the video, and like I said in the intro, there has been a lot of people who have been extremely bearish on the cryptocurrency market over the past couple months, and it's never really a narrative I have fully understood. For me, it was pretty obvious that peak fear was after the FTX collapse. We saw so many different companies in the cryptocurrency market going under, so many projects failing, getting hacked, and it just seemed to me like it was obvious we were pretty close to peak fear. Now, a thing that a lot of people were pointing to as something that was going to be the next shoe to drop, the next thing that was going to be right around the corner, was Binance ultimately getting taken down by US authorities. That was kind of alongside the Tether flood that's been going on forever, but these were two things that people were pretty much saying, hey, we are not at the bottom until these things take place. Well, we actually got some fascinating news around Binance earlier today, and I think this is absolutely massive for the market going forward. Today, we actually found out that the US authorities are actually okay with just fining Binance and letting them continue on their way. Now, a lot of people suspected that Binance was in the same position as FTX. So what does that mean? FTX had a hole in their business. Their business was a failure. FTX had a complete and utter collapse, not because regulators killed it, but because the FTX business model was broken. They were using customer funds to actually fund their own activities, and because of that, when customers went to redeem their value, the funds was not there, and therefore FTX went into a death spiral. Now, people were saying that the same exact thing was going to happen to Binance, and that's why US authorities were looking into Binance. Now, let's just make something clear. Binance is one of the largest holders of Bitcoin in the entire world, and one of the largest holders of almost every single cryptocurrency. So if Binance was to go under, we would have seen a you-know-what storm in the entire cryptocurrency market, and there's no doubt in my mind that would have caused a massive liquidity event that would have likely led us to new all-time lows. Now, me personally, and as you guys probably know, I was never a believer that something bad was going to happen to Binance. It was something I almost never talked about on this channel because I didn't believe it to be true. My base assumption was that everyone saw what happened to FTX and just assumed, hey, that same exact thing has to happen to Binance, which is clearly not the truth. What we learned today is that Binance did some sketchy stuff in the past. They likely didn't have proper KYC and AML, and therefore people were allowed to fund organizations that they shouldn't have been funding on the Binance platform. But the massive difference between this and FTX is there's no hole in Binance's business. There's nothing that would cause a death spiral, and that's what we just learned today. Today, we learned that the United States only wants to fine Binance. They want to fine them $4 to $5 billion, which is a you-know-what load of money, but they're not trying to kill Binance. And this is so important for the cryptocurrency market going forward. What we are learning is Binance looks like they have a path to survive in the world, to be a legitimate cryptocurrency exchange in the future. And this is the biggest player, so we should all be celebrating this. This takes a massive black swan scenario off the table. This is the thing that everyone was saying was the next shoe to drop, the next big collapse that was going to cause a black swan event. But it looks like that's straight up not going to happen. The fact that Binance only needs to pay a fine is so mega bullish I can't even describe it to you. If Binance was really running a Ponzi scheme like FTX, this market would be in big trouble. But something told me it was never really the case, and that's because Binance had been around forever. CZ had been around forever. He knew the problems with FTX business, and he publicly addressed those problems. If he had the same things going on at Binance, why would he be so public about going out and exposing these things? It never made any sense to me, and because of that, I think people just had something called a recency bias. They saw what happened to FTX and said, hey, the same exact thing has to happen to Binance because Binance is also in legal trouble. But what we're seeing is that is completely not the case. And for me, what this really does is takes a massive negative catalyst off the table. If there is no imminent Binance collapse, that makes conditions in the cryptocurrency market so much better. Imagine what big institutions would have thought if another major cryptocurrency company went under. And imagine the implications that would have had on other projects. Projects who had a lot of their tokens on Binance, projects that relied on Binance. We would have saw another massive cascade of collapses. And this is something people were full on predicting. So what I think this is really crisis averted. We just learned that there isn't going to be a black swan scenario with Binance. And that is mega bullish for the market. Because if we can actually get through this period where Binance actually shakes off the regulators and survives this, well, that is a huge thing that we no longer have to worry about. And it's actually going to turn into a bullish catalyst because now Binance moving forward can actually operate in a regulated environment. They can put all this stuff they did in the past behind them and really focus on, hey, we want to run a better business. We want to run a more compliant business. How do we do that with the regulators today? So when I saw this today, I was extremely excited. And I also want to point out that so many experts in this space were saying that this was a given. Of course, Binance is going to collapse. The US regulators are going to kill it because they have all that power. But none of these experts were even close to being right. What Binance did was they did some sketchy stuff in the past, and now the United States is saying, okay, well, we'll get over that if you give us a couple $1 billion. This is the ultimate bullish scenario for cryptocurrencies. I did not want to see what this market would look like if Binance really did have a hole in their balance sheet, but lucky for us, it doesn't look like we're going to have to see that day. So obviously, I was super excited when I saw this today, and it really made me think, when was the last time we really had a major negative catalyst in the cryptocurrency market? It's been a while ago. It's been maybe 6 to 8 months now, ever since FTX. And since then, it's been bullish catalyst after bullish catalyst. Right now, the market really hasn't reflected that, right? We've seen some excitement in the market, but not a rush of new liquidity. But I think this is one of those things that is going to make institutions so much more confident in getting back in a big way. Institutions want to beat retail. Institutions want to make maximum profit, but they don't want to be in the market for the biggest exchange in the entire ecosystem collapsing. This is going to make them more confident that, hey, there's a Bitcoin spot ETF right around the corner. There is a renewed hype level in cryptocurrencies, and the market conditions are starting to look better. Now that we know that the biggest exchange in the world is likely off the hook from any black swan scenario, maybe that means it's time for us to get back in the cryptocurrency market in a big way. For me, this is just another indication that we are far out of the bear market and we have a bull market right around the corner. And like I always say, the cryptocurrency market is not independent of the equity markets. The other thing we are seeing is the equity markets are moving towards new all-time highs. Now, people in the cryptocurrency industry seem to not want to accept this, but this is what's happening. And I'm going to call out Zach Rector right here, but just so you guys know, I'm a big fan of Zach. We talk all the time. We just have differing views on the economy. But a couple weeks ago, he was calling me out for NVIDIA, right? Falling below its previous high on the year. He was saying, okay, here comes the crash the economy's taking. And what do we see just a couple weeks later? NVIDIA's making a new all-time high. Microsoft's making a new all-time high. The S&P 500 is about to make a new all-time high. The NASDAQ is about to make a new all-time high. You can only be bearish for so long when things like this are happening. The crash happened. We saw most tech stocks down 80%, 90%, but now they're recovering. And why are they recovering? Guys, it's not manipulation. It's not some random thing happening in the market. It's because of this. They are producing record amounts of revenue. They are blowing their numbers out of the water. And it's because despite the fact that certain parts of our economy don't look good right now, big tech and the biggest companies in the United States are continuing to kill earnings. For me, the simple fact that these companies are breaking out to new all-time highs tells me we're likely in a bullish environment. The rest of the economy might not necessarily be there yet. They might still be recovering from the hardships we have went through over the last 3 years, but some companies are already pulling out of the bad environment we were in. And I think this is, once again, very important for the cryptocurrency market. Big money is not going to be making huge investments in speculative things like cryptocurrencies if the stock market is tanking. They're going to get involved in the cryptocurrency market when they know market conditions are good. And the simple fact that we now have the major indices going back up and reaching new all-time highs, it's going to tell these equity managers, it's going to tell the big liquidity providers that, hey, we're likely entering a risk-on environment where we can afford to allocate some capital back to the cryptocurrency market. So if you combine all these things, all the things I said about Binance not collapsing, all these things about the Tether narrative never actually coming to fruition, Tether actually just continuing to strive. And if you combine that with the fact that this recession, this depression, this second stock market crash doesn't seem to be happening, guys, it seems to me we are so much closer to a bullish environment for cryptocurrencies than a bearish environment. And for me, it's all the data we just talked about. We went through a terrible time in the cryptocurrency market. We had companies going bankrupt. We saw the investments dropping off a cliff. But guys, those times always end. And if you zoom out on any cryptocurrency chart, it's usually up and to the right. I think we're back in the expansion phase. And hopefully this video just helped you understand my thinking on why we're so close to this time. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much. And for now, Mickle out.